Hello and welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're doing something a little bit different.
A little bit.
We are basically firing up the time machine. We're jumping forward, or I guess looking at the present through the lens of this very specific, very loud moment in time, the start of 2026.
It was a really noisy start to the year, wasn't it?
Incredibly. We have this massive stack of notes here covering the three, the absolute titans of industry events that kick off every year.
Right. CES, NRF, and the World Economic Forum.
Exactly. CES in Vegas, the NRF big show in New York, and Davos. And usually these three events feel like they're happening in completely different galaxies.
Oh, for sure. Totally siloed conversation.
You got the gadget nerds at CES, the retail folks at NRF looking at robots, and then, the global elite at Davos talking about huge policy issues.
Yeah, they're usually just talking past each other.
But not this year. The source material we're digging into today points out something. Well, something really strange.
They were all on the same page.
They were all singing from the exact same song sheet. It was this convergence of signal that you rarely see.
And that kind of convergence usually signals a tipping point. When the tech builders, the retailers, and the regulators all obsess over the same thing at the same time,
You have to pay attention.
you have to. It stops being hype and it starts being reality.
And that concept, it has a name. It's the buzzword of the day and the title of our deep dive, Agentic Commerce. Now, I have to admit, when I first saw that phrase, Agentic Commerce, my eyes kind of rolled back in my head a little bit.
It definitely has that ring to it, a little buzzwordy.
It sounds like something a consultant made up to charge more money. But the mission for today is to prove that's wrong.
Right.
That's the plan. We need to unpack this.
Yeah.
Because according to these reports, this isn't just marketing. It's a fundamental shift in how the economy actually runs. So let's start at ground zero. What is agentic commerce?
Yeah, the foundational question.
And how is it different from, the AI shopping bots we've been hearing about for years?
To get it, you have to look at what we've been doing for the last decade. We've been living in the era of the assistant.
Okay.
Think about it. You go to a website, a chatbot pops up, you ask it, do you have these shoes in red? It says yes, and it sends you a link.
And then I have to click the link, decide if I want them, add to cart, put in my credit card, all of it.
Exactly. You are the driver. The AI is just the GPS. It gives you directions, but you have to turn the wheel. Agentic commerce flips that model completely.
How so?
We are moving from systems that just support human decision-making
Right, the assistants.
to systems that autonomously execute economic activity.
Okay, autonomously execute. That's the heavy lifting in that sentence.
It is. It's the difference between an AI saying, here are some running shoes you might like, and an AI saying, I found the shoes, I checked your budget, I cross-referenced your training schedule, I negotiated a 10% discount, bought them, and they'll be there on Tuesday.
So we are moving from talkers to doers.
Precisely. Their message across CES, NRF, and Davos was that the era of conversational shopping is over. It's evolving into autonomous execution.
The value isn't in the chat anymore.
Nobody wants to have a 20-minute conversation with a piece of software to buy toothpaste. The value is in the outcome.
That makes so much sense. I don't want a relationship with my toaster. I just want toast.
Exactly.
Now, to really get a handle on this, our source material, which draws heavily from a big Microsoft for Stardust report on these signals, it breaks this whole thing down into 5 specific patterns.
5 trends that really explain how this new machine economy works.
And these aren't just theories, right? This is happening now.
Oh, yeah. Let's dive in.
Okay, pattern number 1, which I think really sets the stakes.
Okay.
From assistants to transaction systems.
This feels like the practical application of what we just defined. It's a huge mindset shift for the industry.
How so?
For years, the metric for success for a bot was like accuracy or helpfulness. Did it answer the question right? Now the metric is just execution.
Can it get the job done?
Can it complete the whole transaction without a human stepping in?
The report mentions that at NRF, the retail show, this was positioned as a total change in how we interact with things. They said the interface becomes the marketplace. What does that mean?
It's a fascinating concept. Think about it. If an agent is doing the buying for you, you don't need a pretty website with big banners.
You don't need a storefront.
Not in the traditional sense. The marketplace is just the data exchange happening between your agent and the seller's agent.
Which explains why we're seeing startups pivot so hard. The notes mention a company, Vortex IQ, They don't call themselves a chatbot company.
No, they call themselves the Agentic OS for commerce.
And another one, Prezi. They're not just searching, they're managing constraints. Unpack that a bit for me.
Well, when you shop, you have all these constraints in your head, right? I want it cheap, but not too cheap, or I need it by Friday.
Sure, all the time.
A true transaction system has to weigh all of those things and make a decision, just like a human would, only faster. Price, delivery speed, return policy, brand preference, your sustainability goals, whatever. It has to make a call.
There was one example in here that I absolutely loved because it feels like actual magic. A company called Ydistry.
Oh, yeah, this is one of my favorite examples.
Their tagline is, "Your inventory is hiding money. We help you find it."
It's brilliant because it solves a problem that humans are just notoriously bad at.
Dead stock. The stuff that just sits in a warehouse gathering dust.
Exactly. In the old world, the assistant world, a dashboard would just pop up and tell a store manager, hey, warning, you have 500 unsold winter coats in Warehouse B and it's April.
And the manager, who's already overworked, just says, great, thanks for the bad news, and then ignores it because they have 10 other fires to put out.
Right. The insight is totally passive. Ydistry takes an agentic approach. The system finds the dead stock, but then it scans the network.
To do what?
You find a location where that stock is actually selling, maybe a store in a colder climate or a discount channel, and it autonomously initiates the transfer or the sale.
So it goes from here's a problem to I solved the problem.
That is the essence of the shift. It finds the hidden money and it captures it without waiting for a human to sign off.
That's incredible. Okay, but this leads to a big question. Where does this happen first? You'd think it would be consumer shopping, me buying coffee. But the report says no.
No.
Pattern number 2 says retail media is the proving ground. This came out of CES. So why is marketing the first place the robots take over?
It all comes down to the environment. For an autonomous agent to work, it needs a world it can understand. Buying a vintage coat on eBay is messy.
Yeah, weird descriptions, bad photos.
Exactly. But retail media, digital ads, sponsored listings, that is a highly structured, machine-readable world.
Structured how?
It's all numbers. Impressions, CPMs, audience segments, budget caps, attribution models. It's all just data points in a database.
It's the spreadsheet come to life.
Basically, yeah. The agents speak the language natively. It's much easier for an agent to say, this keyword is too expensive, shift budget to that one, than for it to figure out if a shirt is the right shade of blue.
So we're seeing agents that can plan a campaign, allocate the money, optimize bids, and just execute the buy, all end to end.
Without a human touching it. The source notes this is one of the first markets where we're seeing, like, full level 5 autonomy, to borrow a term from self-driving cars.
Wow. And the startups here are fascinating. There's Footprints AI, and then one that caught my eye was Coactive. They maximize video and images with AI. But wait a minute, images aren't numbers.
But that's the magic trick. Coactive takes that messy, unstructured data, the images and video, and it uses AI to structure it. It tags every pixel, every object, every emotion.
So it translates the human world for the machine.
That's a perfect way to put it. It turns the picture into data, and then the other agents, the buyers and planners, can read it and use it.
Okay, so we have agents moving inventory, agents buying ads. But here's the reality check, and this gets us to pattern number 3. It's rarely just one single superbot doing all of this, is it?
No, and that's a crucial distinction. It was the big takeaway from NRF. For a while, everyone thought the goal was to build the one co-pilot, this sort of godlike AI that knows everything.
But that's not it.
It's actually a terrible way to build software. It's too complex, too fragile.
So if we don't have one genius bot, what do we have?
You have a multi-agent operating model. Think of it like a corporate org chart. You don't hire one person to do everything. You hire a team.
A team of specialists.
Exactly. You have a merchandising agent that knows what's trending, an inventory agent that knows what's in the warehouse, a pricing agent that manages margins.
And they all talk to each other.
They have to, and this is where it gets really tricky. Imagine the pricing agent notices the competitor just dropped their price on TVs.
Okay, yeah.
It wants to match that price instantly. But the inventory agent screams, wait, we only have 10 of those left. If you drop the price, we'll sell out in 5 minutes and tick off customers.
So who's the boss? Who breaks the tie?
That is the million-dollar question. The report says the winner in this space won't be the company with the smartest single agent. It'll be the one with the best orchestration layer.
The middle manager.
In a way, yes. You need a conductor for the orchestra. The source highlights tech like LangChain and Waldiz that are built for this. They're the governance layer that makes sure the agents are working together.
There's a company mentioned here, Instantly, that calls their bots AI teammates.
That language is very telling. Teammates, we're moving past thinking of these as tools and into digital workforces.
Yeah.
You're managing a staff that happens to be code.
Okay, I'm going to have to pause us here because, I can feel the listeners getting a little nervous. Frankly, I'm getting a little nervous. We've got armies of bots running around, spending money, moving stock, negotiating with each other at lightning speed. What happens when they go rogue? What happens when the pricing agent decides to sell everything for a penny?
You have successfully arrived at pattern number 4. This was the heavy hitter from the World Economic Forum in Davos.
Trust as the foundation layer.
Exactly. At Davos, the conversation wasn't, can we do this? It was, should we do this? And how do we not burn down the global economy in the process?
The source puts it very bluntly, trust is not a feature. It is the platform.
It's a powerful statement.
Yeah.
And it's true. If you don't build trust from the absolute ground floor, you don't have commerce, period.
So what does that look like?
Well, think about agent-to-agent commerce. If a bot shows up to your digital store and says, I want to buy 5,000 units on credit, how do you know it's actually authorized to do that?
And you know it's not a hacker.
Or that it can even pay?
Yeah.
At WEF, they outlined the pillars: identity, authorization, and auditability.
Auditability, that means you need to be able to replay the tape, right?
You need the black box recording. If an agent messes up, buys the wrong thing, you have to know why it made that decision. You can't just say, the AI did it.
Right, that doesn't hold up in court.
And doesn't help you fix the bug. This is why you see startups focus purely on this policing layer. Holistic AI for governance, transcend for data privacy.
And then there's hidden layer and, wait, before AI.
Before AI.
Your tagline is pre-crime cyber threat prevention. That is straight out of Minority Report.
It sounds like sci-fi, but think about the speed we're talking about. If an agent is making transactions in milliseconds, you can't wait for a human analyst to notice fraud an hour later. The money's gone.
You have to stop it before it happens. The security has to be as autonomous as the commerce.
It has to be. This trust layer isn't just about stopping bad guys. It's about giving big companies the confidence to actually turn these systems on.
Okay, so we have the agents, the teams, and the police force. But there's one piece missing. How do they all talk to each other? Right now, Amazon speaks Amazon, Walmart speaks Walmart.
And that brings us to the final pattern, pattern number 5, protocols and platforms. This was the recurring theme across all 3 events.
We need rails for the trains to run on.
We need infrastructure, interoperability. If we want a true agentic economy, we need shared standards. A standard way to ask for a price, place an order, process a return.
Because if every single store requires a custom integration, the whole thing just falls apart. It doesn't scale.
Exactly. And the source makes a really strategic point here. In this new gold rush, owning the rails, the protocols might be way more valuable than owning any single agent.
The old sell shovel strategy. Don't dig for gold, build the railroad.
And those tracks are being laid right now. The report lists a few acronyms we're going to hear a lot more of. MCP, the Model Context Protocol.
Okay.
UCP, the Universal Commerce Protocol. And AP2, the Agent Payments Protocol.
AP2 sounds like a droid from Star Wars. I'm guessing it's about money.
It defines how an agent proves it has funds and authorizes a payment. These sound dry, but they're the TCP/IP of this next economy. Without them, none of it works.
So if we take a step back and look at these 5 patterns, why was this report written? It's from Microsoft for startups. They aren't just doing this for fun.
No, they have a very specific agenda. They're listening to these signals from CES, NRF, and Davos because they are actively recruiting
For their Pegasus portfolio.
their top-tier program, yeah. And the filter they're using is enterprise readiness. The key takeaway here is that the era of the cool demo is over. Microsoft is saying agentic commerce has moved from experimentation to execution. They want companies solving the boring, messy, real-world problems.
The plumbing, not just the flashy chatbots.
Exactly. They're betting that the infrastructure plays are the ones that are going to win.
It's just incredible to think about how fast this is all moving.
Yeah.
To recap where we've been today, we started with this unified signal from the world's biggest stages. We defined agentic commerce as the shift from assistance to autonomous execution.
From help me decide to do it for me.
We saw how agents are finding hidden money in inventory, how retail media is basically becoming a machine-to-machine stock market, and why we need teams of agents, not just one superbot.
And crucially, why none of it works without this huge new layer of trust and standardized protocols.
For you listening, this isn't just tech speak. This is a fundamental change in the very texture of the economy. We're moving from a world of human clicks to a world of machine transactions.
And that really gets to the so what for everyone. Your role is changing. You're no longer the shopper. You're the manager of the shopper.
I love that framing. You're the boss, not the worker.
Correct. You set the mission, you define the budget and the constraints, and you let the agent execute. But being the boss comes with liability.
And that leads me to the thought I really want to leave everyone with. It's something that's been stuck in my head since we talked about the trust section. In a world when agents are negotiating with other agents, how do we even define identity?
That is the big unanswered question.
I mean, think about it. If my agent makes a purchase that I didn't explicitly approve, say it bought a new brand of coffee because it was 20% off and fit my flavor profile, did I really buy it?
Technically, the money left your account. But emotionally, maybe not.
And if that coffee is terrible? Or worse, what if my agent buys 1,000 pounds of it by mistake because of a bug? Who's responsible? Is it me, the developer?
And it gets even more complex. What if your agent commits fraud while trying to get you the best deal? If it manipulates a system to get a discount, who goes to jail? You or the code?
That is a terrifying thought to end on. But that's why we do these deep dives, to find the questions we haven't even thought to ask yet. Thank you so much for walking us through all this.
My pleasure. It is going to be a wild year.
It certainly is. Thanks for listening, everyone. Keep your agents in check, and we'll see you on the next deep dive.